Hello everybody, how are we all doing? And also, what's that phrase? Oh, that's it. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, don't we? We have 2 nights plus a TV all to cover and staying sane. Yeah, I've said that out loud, didn't I? But we're going to be objective. We're not going to be... We're not just going to say things for saying sake. Alright? We're actually going to be objective. Absolutely. I was trying to get a hold of you. And I'm glad that you're available. So, in the chat now, Ailey, just to save you a wee bit of time, is that link. Guys, if you want to come and join us, fucking moan in. Because we've got this to do. We're going to talk Raw after Mania as well. We're going to get my thoughts. We're going to get Ailey's thoughts. We're going to get the chat's thoughts. I'm going to tell you who won. I actually did try to get a hold of you. Have you not seen the community post that I tagged you in? I wouldn't really call it a new Shield. And I don't like that people are calling it Evolution 2.0. It's the new Dangerous Alliance. I literally, not even joking, if you look on the shorts, I actually tagged you in a short video. Oh, that's criminal. Come on in, Ailey, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join us, by the way, the link is in the chat. You're more than welcome. Come on in, talk Wrestlemania, talk Raw after Mania, and chat nonsense. Scrap that last part. But come on in. Anyone's welcome. We're here for a laugh. Just don't be a dick. That's all I ask. Don't be a dick. Be funny. If that's even possible. But we have a lot to get through. My mic is not going to decline on volume, so we're safe. Nick, I appreciate at least you're listening in the last circumstance. For fuck's sake. You can be whatever the hell you want. I mean, whatever you're playing with, as long as you're not playing with fire. Maybe not. But hey ho, we have got one in already. Guys, if you want to join, links in the chat, but we may as well fire in. She ain't going to be a bitch tonight. She might actually agree with me.
We're on a portable setup.
Portable? In your jammies. That's how chill you are. Hello, co-host.
100%.
How are we?
So professional. I also currently can barely hear you because you're not coming through the headset.
Alright, hold on. Change your settings.
Go for it.
You hear me?
We good?
I can hear you. How's the sound looking on your side?
I still don't think you're coming through the actual headset, but I can hear you.
As long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're just not coming through it. Can people hear me?
Thumbs up in the chat if you can hear Ailey. Thumbs down if you can't. Just don't do a Sammy Callahan and throw barbed wire at someone's dick.
And if the audio's shit, then I'll load up a laptop.
Aye, in the meantime, I would load up your laptop. It might be that. It might be that, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've got 90 minutes, and here's an interesting little
tidbit
to kick you off. I'm fucking bored of WWE.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, who takes the win for this? There's only one person that takes the win for this, and I believe it's here.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in
Reece Russell.
I will proudly take that victory. I'm just kidding. But
Well, no.
I want to hear this. I want to hear. Yeah, James in the chat immediately. Did I just hear that correctly? I think, to be fair, I'm going to be quite contradictory, and I can't hide either, because there's a person in the chat that can immediately say I'm bullshitting, and it's Catherine. Because obviously I interact with Catherine as well through social media, so I will say this: I actually think. It might be because I might have just been half asleep, or I don't know. But I actually thought Monday Night Raw was superior to both nights of WrestleMania. Which isn't saying much.
In different places. Where the fuck is the remote? Damn.
But then again though, it could be the fact that WrestleMania was just so damn bad that Raw could have just been better anyway. But it has to be consistently good for me to say, you know what, this makes sense. But I'm actually looking forward to getting your general take anyway once your laptop decides to play ball.
Well, I'm about to show your internet up like nobody's business, friend.
See, circumstance.
Well,
100%, yeah.
I think you're gonna have to actually send the link again.
I will send it to you straight now, yeah?
I got it.
Sure. I was gonna send it straight to your WhatsApp anyway. You good?
Right.
Yeah, James. Yeah, look at this.
Show up your internet. You wanna know how?
See?
Because
See, look.
I'll be on this show twice.
Yep, I mean, I technically could as well 3 times with both laptop and phone, but look at this. See? Look.
No,
Catherine
your
in the...
internet wouldn't last. Anyway, let's...
But look, Catherine in the chat. Catherine saying, I agree with Raw was better. Fernando's saying Raw was better.
I'm bored of WWE. I thought, and honestly, I know I'm gonna get absolutely panned for this. And
No, you won't. You won't.
Well, I know that in a few weeks I'll be like, oh, I'm back on board. But I just want to.
But that's okay. That's okay.
I'm absolutely not fucking remotely interested in the Seth Rollins thing.
So can I ask you a question then before we get your deep take? What is it specific? See, Catherine is kind of where I'm on the same wavelength. It needs to be 6 months consistent. I agree, and that's not only just Raw. But here's the question, and guys, Ailey's been shutting you down for a long time in terms of AEW shit. Don't bully her about the fact she's bored of WWE. It's actually good that Ailey's actually having a corner turn.
I'm still fucking sick of AEW and Tony
Khan. I know that. But what is it specifically about WWE right now that you're actually annoyed with? Jokey saying your audio might be bad, but it might be fixed now.
Possibly. I don't know. I've got the mic here.
That sounds better. Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
I'll give you some ASMR.
For fuck's sake. But what is it specifically about before we go into directly this altogether? What is it about WWE that's actually got you bored? Because we did say before WrestleMania, we did say that there is a chance that, and you weren't directly disagreeing with me, and you weren't also agreeing with me. You were slightly 50-50 in the sense where I said that this generally could be one of the worst WrestleManias, but you also said that the build in some areas was getting good, but it can really test your... Not necessarily it'll test your loyalty or test your whatever, that's not what you are, but it'll really test your patience as a fan, and it did test mine. But what exactly is it?
I would say that's where it comes from.
Go on.
I would say that they are absolutely testing my patience as a fan at this point. I think what really confused for me, again, I'll make sure that it's the razor. It is. It's the microphone that's picking me up, so I should be okay.
That's fine.
Right.
I've gave you the bigger screen just to echo your point. So
yeah, well, what I'm really sick of is, to be honest, like there was nothing. It's not that there was nothing, but it's that all the main event storylines coming out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I do not care. Now, I don't care about this Seth Rollins thing. And I know I know a lot of people care about having their heel Seth Rollins back. Okay.
Yep, that's fair.
Two main issues with that. One, he isn't going to be booed because
100% agree.
Because we've done this before. We've danced this dance. And number two, it makes absolutely no fucking sense why Braun Breaker's teaming with him.
I did say to you.
And if it's Heyman, what about Braun Breaker has made it look like he needs Paul Heyman? It doesn't make any sense. What they've done is they've seen a skeleton for some kind of Evolution Mark II that they can do, or Dangerous Alliance Mark II, or whatever.
I'm getting that vibe over Evolution, to be fair.
People online say, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we teamed this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy?"
See, Ailey's turned a corner that bad. Her internet is hating this.
Apparently, I'm disappearing for a moment.
You're okay.
Breaker haven't fucking crossed paths once on the main roster.
No, they haven't.
It's been a little fucking like, oh, you're here, oh, you're here. Why does Braun Breaker respect him enough to work with him?
It doesn't make sense to me, and this is where I did say for the longest time, I said to you last year before Money in the Bank that I did think Braun Breaker was going to be the next Paul Heyman guy. Whenever that happens, I don't care. It was going to happen. I'm not saying, oh, I'm so fucking proud that it's happened, but I'm still glad that came true. But
It makes sense.
But I agree, because I like the NXT follow-up. I like, obviously, the NXT AEW episodes that collided with each other. Obviously, Heyman was with Breaker on that episode. But I agree. It doesn't actually make sense to have Rollins with him. It actually makes more sense to have someone, not CM Punk, because even him with Braun Breaker doesn't make any sense. But when you look at the roster,
any pairing,
it's actually quite difficult.
Any pairing that you make with Paul Heyman right now is going to pale in comparison to him being the special counsel.
Honestly, and this is rare for me to say, I actually agree.
He's...
I can't hear you. You just went from speaking to sound like an ocean.
Oh my god, what is going on tonight?
It literally went from volume to here's the ocean. I've got no idea. See, yeah, that's good. I've seen people saying this, but I think, to be fair, see, when you look at it, I know that I kind of saw in a way that I thought that Heyman was going to side with Rollins because it doesn't seem as overly as predictable, but then it came true. If you're going to have Braun Breaker with someone, it actually makes more sense for Braun Breaker to be with CM Punk than anybody. It doesn't make sense.
It makes more sense for the pairing that we've seen to be the pairing that we have. And this whole idea that Paul Heyman turned on Roman and Roman and Punk because they were going to make him choose and Seth didn't. That's a bit like, should I have pizza or curry for dinner? I'll have salad. It's like...
Or in our case, you end up with a battered Mars bar.
But how do you get to the point where you were between two choices and therefore you pick a third one?
Exactly. Yeah.
If Paul Heyman wanted to stick it to both of them, fine. Why is he then siding with the third guy?
Why not? Exactly, because
like just went and then swerve. And
why not just walk away?
It was Tony Khan level. I was pissed off.
I found it stranger as well. And obviously we're going to cook one particular person tonight, and I mean, really, he's going to get cooked.
He's choosing his own side, but why is his own side Seth Rollins? Why does Seth Rollins?
What was strange? He's choosing his own side. Well, if he's choosing his own side, then he already chose the wrong person. If Paul Heyman's choosing his own side is on the following night.
Paul Heyman turns his back on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, who saved him, goes to Seth Rollins, where there's just...
Yeah.
I was trying to think after it. How many times has Paul Heyman feuded or fought or argued with Seth Rollins before this. How much history are we going to have to rewrite?
Oh, you know what they're going to rewrite? They're going to talk about...
Shake hands with the snake Paul Heyman. I swear that's a quote in a promo.
Yeah, there is. And you know what they're going to come back to?
Hands.
I know exactly what they're going to come back to as well. They're going to come back to when Seth Rollins was first world champion, 2015, when he... when obviously he got helped by Taker, screw Lesnar. They're going to bring that up at some point, and they're going to bring back up WrestleMania 35, how Rollins lost the title and got screwed at the title against Lesnar. You know they're going to do it. It might not even be Brock returning, but they're going to come back to this in some capacity, and it doesn't work because you still need Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar's not going to come back now. He's got no reason. There's nothing for Brock Lesnar to come back to.
If he's even allowed to.
Another good question. Nick, good to see you, Nick. I was on his channel on Friday for a little bit. He does like very late shows because he's based in the US. Late for us anyway. But Nick says Seth made valid points about a fractured friendship between Punk and Heyman, and Roman abandoned Heyman for last year. That's the reason for this alliance. It's perfect sense to me. You can make so you can reference those, and that's fair. But that doesn't automatically equal an alliance. That's just you highlighting the truth. That's like going back to Cody Rhodes' promo, and Cody Rhodes is like, you've lost everybody.
Here's another thing that I've got no appetite for a heel stable anymore.
I blame the Judgment Day.
4 years of Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
2 years of Judgment Day. We don't need another main event mega heel stable, even if the Bloodline are gone.
Also, the LWO as well.
Yeah, we don't need another stable. Like, we can have a bit of time without it, because here's the thing. We're going right back into these matches. Seth Rollins is going to have the Roman Reigns match. Seth Rollins, it's going to be a good match, and then it's going to be a ref bump, and then it's going to be a something. Or
and that's not him.
Cross the divide and look at John Cena, there's going to be a ref bump and there's going to be a something. It's a mess. And they got away with it with the Bloodline because Roman fucking Reigns is incredible. That's the thing. His character carried it. Because if that was John Moxley, as we're seeing with the Death Riders, it doesn't work. The fans don't care. They just want it off the television. Roman Reigns carried the Bloodline storyline to the point where people were like, oh, we kind of want to see Roman. Okay, we don't want to see the ref bump and the screwy finish, but we'll come back. We'll watch the next one.
Yeah.
At this point, you're only watching WWE because it's the next one. It's
becoming redundant.
Yeah, and that was the thing. That was what I felt that way a little bit at the end of WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah.
Because how I felt was, you've had me watch this entire feud and this entire build-up.
Uh-huh.
And it's
of course,
become about the fourth guy. It's become about Paul Heyman. This wasn't about Punk getting revenge on Roman. This wasn't about Roman getting revenge on Seth. This wasn't about Seth getting revenge on Punk. Rock, paper, scissors style. This was about Paul Heyman.
I mean, Nick, your point is true. He did have a lot of supporting cast. But when you look at it, though, he was still the main function. And I'm saying this as one of Roman Reigns' biggest haters, because I find the guy incredibly boring. But he was the main part. Everyone else had their part to play, but not many of them actually lived up. And I'll give you one perfect example who continuously did not live up after the Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens only had 2 points. The rest of it was a dud. Sami Zayn, he re-energized it for a little bit, I'll grant him that, but after that he just became a boring wannabe.
Roman wasn't there, and you had some bland dickhead, and then you had Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa.
So, Jacob Fatu.
Well, to be fair, we're talking about the first iteration of Bloodline. So you would have the Usos. You'd have the Usos, and you'd have Sami Zayn, and you'd have some bland motherfucker, and you'd have Solo.
I'm guessing Fernando removed that comment by accident, but it's okay. It was a fair comment. I don't see an issue with
I'm
it.
guessing you're not going to get 4 years out of that, and this is kind of like I say, the Bloodline. I said it. I put it in your comments yesterday in your chat.
Yeah, you did.
WWE are reaching for Phase 5 of Marvel right now.
They are scared. I don't know if you would agree with me on that or not.
Not that they're scared. It's that they think they can just print that greatness again, and for a lot of people, they can. The same way that for a lot of people, Marvel can put out new movies now, and people still go and watch them because it's Marvel. They're not actually telling that great stories. They've just finished telling one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. Not in wrestling, but one of the greatest stories I've ever seen told in any medium. The Bloodline stuff, up to Cody finally finishing the story, is beautiful. And it's such great storytelling. And they want to recreate it.
Yeah.
And the problem is, it was the ingredients were perfect. Or if the ingredients weren't perfect, they used them perfectly. And they had
That makes sense. That makes sense.
This stable, these ingredients already, to me, no. I mean, Paul Heyman is coming in to manage a guy who can already cut a promo. Now, Roman can cut a promo now.
Yeah.
When Heyman first aligned with Roman, we were worried to hear Roman talk. Turned out Roman just needed a heel turn. We've seen Seth Rollins as a heel. It didn't work. We turned him face.
Numerous times.
Not going to get booed in this row.
Braun Breaker is literally going to get the biggest pop imaginable because he speared the shit out of everyone.
And Paul Heyman's probably not going to get booed.
You know what else is worse? You know what else is worse, and you're not going to like this.
The only way this stable's going to get booed is by doing the exact same cheap heel heat shit that we saw at the end of WrestleMania Night 2, and the same cheap heel heat shit that we were seeing in Bloodline matches for months that got us saying, why the fuck did Roman not just lose the belt? Why is Roman Reigns still champion? After Clash 1 in Cardiff, why is Roman still champion? After Kevin Owens fought him.
Even LA Knight when he was over to fucking Saudi.
LA Knight, why hasn't Logan Paul dethroned this fucking cunt yet? You know, we were thinking all of this.
All of it was there.
For 17 then, you know?
Yeah.
We were thinking all of this because we were getting sick of this happening. We've now got a stable that won't even get booed and they'll still do it.
Yeah, there's another thing as well, and I'm sorry for everyone that needs to hear this, but apparently the main event of Backlash might not be what we're going to discuss shortly. The main event potentially of Backlash is Breaker Rollins versus Punk Roman. That's possibly the main event over the main event that is, in my opinion, even though I really don't care, the main event that should be is Orton versus Cena for the umpteenth time. But apparently they might actually book that tag team match as the main event, which, I'm saying this now, incredibly insulting. But it's incredibly insulting anyway. Not because neither of them are not main event material, but it...
Like nothing tag matches is your main event. It's like, I really don't care.
Is
it possible this is a face faction in the end? I think so. It is possible that it's a face faction, but I will make this much clear though. They're not being booked as a face faction. What's going to dictate them being a face faction is that the fans will not boo them.
Yeah, you know what's worse as well? How can it be a baby? It can't even be a babyface faction now anyway, because Paul Heyman he's already hit the low blow on CM Punk and he's tried to give Roman Reigns a hand job, because that was a horrible low blow. That was horrible, and I know you cooked in the chat last night. Because even worse, it's not just about cooking the low blow. It's the fact that Pat McAfee done it and it looked cringe, and I'm like, that says a lot. And I know I cooked Pat McAfee a lot anyway, but this was just cringe.
The problem, like I say, the problem is that Paul Heyman's involvement in the main event took the focus off what I wanted to see, which was the match.
It should have just been Paul Heyman walking away.
I just wanted to see a match. I just wanted to see the three of them have a match.
Same,
And
honestly, so did I.
instead, we have another thing decided on a fucking low blow. Because while we're at it,
Oh, I need to put this up as a banner. I need to put this up as a banner.
Absolutely. If you thought I was annoyed by the Seth Rollins thing,
Wait. There we go. I must conclude this way.
Okay, well, fuck this. Okay.
I can't.
You're watching Cody Rhodes run this company for a year, and he's had super matches. They've been incredible. AJ Styles, he even got a good match with AJ Styles. That's how good he is.
Come on. He actually gave a good. He actually gave. Both of them gave a good performance. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Both of them actually had a good match together.
Great match in his title reign. It's a fantastic title reign, and he's so over. And I get that he can't be champion forever, right?
Yeah.
But if he's going to be the guy that beats Roman Reigns, and he ends that title reign, you then have him undone at WrestleMania by John Cena. Okay, cool. And see if it was John Cena and it was a match. See if John Cena made him pass out in the STFU.
Almost as if what I called as well. That's what I said should have happened.
An avalanche. Remember what he did? See you later, Nick.
See you later, mate.
Remember what he did against AJ, where he did like the avalanche, picked him up and did another one.
Yeah, that the Royal Rumble.
If he'd done that to Cody, I would have accepted it, and I would
Same.
have been like, cool, sure, fine. Because it was a wrestling finish, and Cena had already turned heel.
Exactly.
And, it didn't work. And guess what, guys? It didn't fucking work. Because John Cena's still John Cena. And we knew this was going to be the case. And John Cena was doing his best with the promos to come across as a heel, and he was getting booed and booed and booed and booed and booed and booed. And it was working. And then he went back to America and they fucking cheered him again. So it didn't matter.
I would just like to I would like to share something on my behalf because I feel like I've won. So I would like to present this.
You've done.
I have actually defeated Ailey. That's the proudest I'll ever be in my life. I'm joking.
Very valid point.
I know, but this is still beautiful.
John Cena was doing great heel work. And
You know what I actually...
Fantastic.
You know what I love the most? I love that. I'm not the only person that said this. There's a lot of people that are very critical about WWE, but they've also agreed. I loved his entrance. But I have one critique. There should be no fucking music. But I really loved the all black lighting, black Titantron with his name all in white. That's a fantastic presentation. I have to admit that.
I'm gonna flip it, I'm afraid.
Go on. You didn't like it?
Cena is going to get more over the more black that he wears.
Yeah.
The more nasty things that he says.
That's true.
For some reason, when it comes to wrestling fans now, if you wear black and say nasty things, you get cheered. And just seems to be how this is going to work. And it's probably how it's always worked, but I think now there's just like, across all companies, there's like an epidemic in wrestling where you can't just boo the bad guy. And this is once again, this is why Roman Reigns has gone up in my estimation as one of the greatest to ever do it. Because he was a bad guy and he got fucking booed. And okay, there were people that would acknowledge him, but they would boo him the moment that he was wrestling, or the moment he was in a big match, the moment he was cutting his promo, he got fucking booed.
This is turning into I'm going to quickly comment to Stuss's comment, and then I'm going to say what I'm thinking is, even though it's not as good as what that once was. But Stussy says this was always the risk of turning Cena heel. He will now be perceived as cool to the older fans, screwing up the dynamic and metrics, and the loyal Cena kids were always going to cheer him. This is not as good as Bash at the Beach 96 when Hogan became Hollywood Hogan, formed NWO. But they literally changed the dynamic of being a heel. He became a cool heel, and that's not what you wanted. You wanted Hogan to be, at the time, perceived as the biggest good guy.
Is becoming that.
It's not going to work.
Tiresome. And then they go, okay, because no one will boo the heel anyway, how are we going to get John Cena to be booed? I know. Let's attach him to Travis fucking Scott.
Oh, God almighty.
Now, I was under the impression when Travis Scott came out that this was like when Solo interfered against Cody last year. It was Act 1. You can maybe even view it as not The Rock interfering, but
we're gonna cook him as well.
Solo the second, so not Jimmy interfering, but Solo.
Yeah.
The second level of interference, not on nobody, but not the end of the fucking match. This finish was an angle, and it was an angle that could have been ripped out of Raw or SmackDown or main event.
Yeah.
If it happens on Grayson Waller's talk show, chances are it probably wasn't fit for WrestleMania. This was a fucking joke, and the match beforehand wasn't even good, and Cody was doing his fucking best.
I agree. No, I'm not going to argue with that at all.
And not in a he's wrestling like a heel way, in a like it's been said by Catherine there, can't wrestle a real match now. He's too
Absolutely.
old. No, this is the most blatant it's been, because before he had the smoke and mirrors, he had the. That's ironic when you talk about him beating Cody, but he had the smoke and mirrors. He had the I'm gonna win it because it's my 17th and hooray, I'm gonna beat Ric Flair's record.
Yeah.
Folk were happy to see it, and they thought there's always a chance with Roman. There's always a chance with John, even. Always a chance John can beat Roman. Always a chance John can get this title. After all, 17, he could do it. That wasn't there with him being a fucking heel, because the fans that want to see him win are not as vociferous as the ones that want to see Cody win.
That's a great point.
And it creates a weird dynamic where Cody probably should have won.
I actually feel sorry for him as well, because even though he... Yeah, but also I feel sorry in a way because I'm not going to say it often, but I agree with what Cena said on Raw about you boo the guy on SmackDown. Sorry, you cheer the guy on SmackDown, and then you boo him at Mania, and then you're going to just boo him again. This did, and when we spoke about this ever so slightly. Fuck the casual. Now the casual fans are, and I've had this in our group chat I'm in. There's nothing wrong with a casual fan, right? I'm not saying this in any slightest. There's nothing wrong with a casual fan, but this WrestleMania was not about the casual fan. This WrestleMania was about cementing the hardcore fan to exactly what they want.
No, this WrestleMania in WWE's head was absolutely about the casual fan.
No, I agree, but it shouldn't have. I know I agree, but it shouldn't have been. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have been.
Casual fans are so tricky because you want casuals to be involved in WrestleMania, and you want more eyes on the product, and you want it to feel big and great.
Yeah,
awesome.
Naturally.
Ultimately, though, if that leads to your main event being decided by Travis Scott,
you're in trouble.
A low blow and a title shot, you've shat the bed.
I feel worse as
Rub it.
And I feel more worse because people compared what I said when I did the little short gaming stream yesterday. When I said, and I hate the fact that people are calling this cinema. You bastards have ruined it for me. But I said last night, the best finish you could have had for that Mania main event was he still goes for the title belt shot. I don't mind the ref bump, even if there's no interference. It's just the ref bump you lead to that. I still would have liked if he had hit him with the belt, and the last thing he doesn't immediately go for the cover or whatever. He puts the title belt in the corner, facing Cody Rhodes. He locks in the STF again, and he forces him to tap out. Not tap out, sorry. He passes out trying to reach for the title that he's now lost. And you bastards called it cinema. It's pro wrestling.
And
yep. Look, my man. Yep.
Did the thing that I got on it Will Ospreay for. So I'm
Willie or
for it.
Yep. Willie or want it. Go for it.
Had the title. He's picked it up. This guy has said and done every meme thing in the world to him. This is about defending the honor of the WWE universe, and he fucking bottled it. And that made him look more of a clown than if you tapped him out, than if you made him pass out, than if he'd lost the match through a count out. I think a count out finish would have been more respectful. I think a count out finish, as I say they found a way to do it so there could be. I'm not sure they could do this, by the way.
I mean, Christian Cage done it to Randy Orton, so
they could try and avalanche him through the announce table.
Okay.
There might be a way of doing it, because really all Cody has to do is take a back bump. If that's not doable, just aim through one announce table.
Ales.
Also, didn't Cody overcome his so-called babyface mental block against... You're right, Luke. You're absolutely right.
So what changes?
Yeah. Like, as I say, it's like if Will Ospreay does it again now. You'd be like,
It's a
no, you've overcome this. You tried to kill Kyle Fletcher. You tried to kill MJF. You've overcome this.
Exactly.
Cena with the belt. I can kill Kevin Owens. Exactly.
It's people use this in a way, and I'm gonna say it so very funny. But people use this, and I've had it done to me a few times, but I'm going to do it now. I've had people come to me and use up the LOL TNA thing. Well, I'm going to say now LOL WWE, because you have just done this, and it's just ridiculous. What? Oh, come on. We're not going to have this, are we? I already explained this. For 30 minutes, Dragunov beat the living shit out of Gunther. Jey Uso just can't wrestle.
Okay. Give us a moment. So with the Cena thing, obviously, Travis Scott wins the main event of WrestleMania, and it's gross. It's a betrayal,
and it's worst timing.
The wrong type of betrayal. This is the wrong type of heel heat, because Rock was getting the wrong type of heel heat. He was getting absolutely.
Jokey.
He's getting fuck off heat. It's not go away heat. It's fuck off heat.
Rock is literally getting don't fucking come back heat from me now.
Don't come back. So
like,
what
I'm done.
Do is we'll get his rapper friend that came out at the whatever the fuck.
Raw Netflix premiere.
Yeah.
It was all fine.
No, when he is that when he punched him?
No, wait, that was the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
Sorry, I was going back in chronological. He done the Raw Netflix debut, and then he was at Elimination Chamber. And he burst his eardrum. Yeah.
So we didn't like Travis Scott already, and not in a oh boo, you're such a heel. Not the way that we boo Logan Paul. The way that, honestly, get the fuck out of here. Like, we don't want to see you. And Keane said, a bird Cody finished the story by Travis Scott costing him after all he'd done to conquer. That's exactly what I said. You can't have a guy beat the tribal chief, the head of the table, the guy who was on God mode, and then lose to a rapper.
Yeah, and this is another great point by Luke. If you haven't listened to the... I don't like the guy anyway, but if you haven't listened to the Pat McAfee show, Christ on a bike, Rock, you fucking idiot. But one thing that I will say that's made me a slightly different view of the last 24 hours or so is the amount of shifting Triple H had to do just because the main guy in TKO wanted Rock back. Yeah, he did want him back, but here's the sad thing about it. I never said you couldn't.
Oh, that's very much the vibe of this show, Keane.
I never said you couldn't, but it's just the reality that this is the shit side of it that I have to endure, and now I'm glad to see that the reality is actually hitting people in the worst way. Like I said last night, I don't want people to stop watching WWE. I've never said that in my life. But I want you to at least open the perspective that when they make a mistake, it's horrible. And last night was, 2 nights ago, horrible mistake. But even turning, this is the part that's got, and I've been thinking about this all day, before we went live, etc. The one thing that's got me so perplexed about, and I'm being very honest here, it's very hard to see how you turn it around. And not in the sense they haven't got them in them. I'm not saying they don't have the capability to do that. I'm saying it's hard to turn it around. because look at all the fans who were already there that were conflicted about wanting to see Cena win, but also they want to see Cody lose. Sorry, Cody win, etc.
Yeah.
You've got the circumstance as well that people are actually debating how you even save Cody Rhodes now. And I'm not saying that's a joke. I've actually seen people say this, and content creators. They've all said, "How the fuck do you save Cody?" I haven't got a fucking clue. I actually haven't got a clue.
Please don't tell me you like the finish of night one. Please don't. Please don't. If I see one more fucking high stakes wrestling match decided by a fucking low blow
and a hand job,
I'm going to lose my shit. I put that message in the WhatsApp. I stand by it.
I concur.
Fed up of it.
Yeah.
Find something else.
See, this is why I said the John Cena heel turn would fail. And I'm sorry, but it has failed. As much as I love the intro.
If WWE was based in Europe, it
Oh,
would be
Elliot, now you're up.
fans were on board with it.
So here's Keane's rebuttal. Wait, well, hold on, sorry. That part I'm disagreeing with because that's bullshit, but it worked for Heyman. I actually disagree on this.
He'll be kind of booed. It's going to be so lukewarm.
I actually think, and this is where I'm in another group chat with Luke as well. That's how I was telling you how pissed I was. But I actually prefer Raw to Mania. But honestly,
there's something on Raw we need to fucking kill.
oh, we're gonna kill a few things.
Night one would a chair shot have been a better alternative. Low blows were hot.
Yeah.
Would
have been.
It's not even. It could be the greatest fucking low blow in the history of low blows. AEW have been booking every main event just about for the last 2 years to end on a fucking low blow.
Most of them, yeah.
We booked every main event bar Bloodline ones, because let's be honest, they didn't really do it that. It wasn't everyone.
They were just ref bump, a little bit of interference and a Roman spear.
If I go back, actually, there was a low blow in every Bloodline match, and that's why I'm sick of it. But
yeah,
I'm fed up of the low blow being the reason. And it's amazing because what I'm looking for, okay, is not AEW's level of arcade stuff where when you get kicked in the balls it's true. What I'm looking for is a company where you don't get kicked in the balls. That's what I'm actually looking for.
Now I'm gonna throw this question at everybody.
Book a fucking finish without a low blow. And who's been managing to do that in their main event scene for a while? Oh, would that be Shawn Michaels at NXT?
I don't know. You tell me. I barely watch.
Well, NXT fucking stole this weekend.
Unless it's a Stephanie Vaquer match. No pause.
NXT stole this weekend. NXT Stand and Deliver was incredible.
I was shocked by one result though. One result in particular shocked me. The tag match. I was surprised for Axiom lost, but I'm saying this now. I'm sorry for all the people who like this, but
they'll call them up as a team.
I actually think they might be the tag team that joins this faction. But I did say as well that I think they might be splitting because of Axiom's tweet was a highlight of it.
Yeah, Cody has to beat The Rock to get his momentum back, but that doesn't work for the final boss. Exactly. So don't get him involved. I think this ends with Roman versus Seth, not The Rock. Fuck The Rock now. He lost my respect. Okay, but what about Cody?
Frankly, I think the best thing to do for Cody Rhodes right now, keep Cody away from the two of them. I don't think there's much you can do for Cody in terms of this thing, but Punk's just been shafted. And obviously I find a little bit of it funny, but even from a logical sense, I find it fucking ridiculous.
Here's the thing. With Seth winning that main event,
yeah,
they were trying to be fucking clever.
Even though we all pretty much saw it coming.
But that's the worst part. They were like, oh, we're so clever.
This is a bad idea, Keen, I'm sorry. This is a bad idea.
Everyone saw that coming.
Yeah.
Eventually, everyone saw it coming. It wasn't this amazing swerve and twist and Seth Rollins aligns with the devil. That was rather predictable. and it felt flat. When Heyman turned on both of them, it felt fucking flat because it didn't subvert expectations because I was expecting them to subvert it that way. What would have subverted expectations is if he'd have just nailed Punk with a fucking chair and given it to Roman.
Yeah,
because after
that would have
all of
been
that, if he'd sided with Roman, you'd be like, I completely understand that. Not only do I completely understand that, but that's fucking brilliant.
This main event, I see where Stussy's coming from, but it won't work. And here's why. Two of those...
massive sack on his back carrying that match.
Yeah, but also, two of these matches are already going to be... Well, one of them's already going to... I think Cena's hometown... Sorry. I think Cena's retirement tour, and I've said this to the likes of Luke and all that, I think Cena's entire retirement tour is going to be hometown heroes, and the worst thing about it as well is I think every single main event he has till he drops the title is going to be the exact same finish. Low blow, title shot, over. And it'll be the new Bloodline method. I think that's what it'll be. I genuinely think that's the plan.
Negative, but the vibe really feels as though WWE are just booking themselves into a corner. The vibe of WWE right now is basically them going, look, you've had your year of Cody, you've had your hero, hooray, now back to just heels and heel heat and heels and heel heat. They should have had the favour be the main event and keep Heyman in the corner for Roman. The turn to Seth would have been less obvious.
I would have just had him in a Shark Tank. I mean, that's if he fits.
I would have just not had Heyman involved.
Is it funny that this would be absolute hilarious karma? Back to No Way Out, where he just he can't win the match, so he just attacks the referee. Yes, I'll read your comment.
They'll probably do it.
I'll read your comment. I don't know how you think it was a 5-star classic though.
Yeah, I would love you to show your working because honestly, I was watching it like, okay, this is cool, this is good, this is cool, and then it's completely stopped.
Yeah.
Because you had to tell your crappy little story about Paul Heyman, you stopped what was heading towards a 5-star match. You stopped it. It was doing really well. And then Heyman had to get the chair out. He had to do what he did. You got Paul Heyman in the ring for like 3 minutes.
I was surprised he still...
3 minutes of Paul Heyman trying to work.
Yeah.
Like, for wrestling match? That can't be 5-star. This was terrible.
I'm actually...
The absolute waste of a fucking favour.
Yeah, I'm surprised he held his breath. I'm actually surprised he held his breath. Here's another thing as well, and this is the reality that kicks in for me, is you've got the match itself, and this is still night one that we're talking about. You've got the match itself, and the worst part as well, and I want to get everyone's opinion on this as well, including yours, but I'm thinking of a word that sums up Paul Heyman's reactions for every time a a cover was made, or a submission attempt. And it doesn't actually help because the turn is coming. But every time there was a cover on Roman, or a cover on Punk, or the Anaconda Vice was locked in and Seth Rollins is nowhere to be found, it feels so damn fake. And I'm not saying all the fake because wrestling is fake, it's predetermined, but it feels so fake because why are you even reacting to these covers or these submission attempts? You should be standing barefaced going, the fuck's going on? You shouldn't be going...
Which, I mean, I suggested, it was like, Paul Heyman should just be stood there not able to, not...
Exactly.
So he's just, not reacting at all. Which would be different, because we always see Paul Heyman so animated, so it would have been noticeably different.
Oh, dearie me.
The problem is I'm fed up of people. Because once again, it wouldn't be me if I didn't rag on AEW for something. So let's go for it. FTR turned on Cole.
Yeah.
Before they hit the shatter machine.
Yeah.
That shoves cash.
Correct. He shoves them. Yes.
Why?
To tease people that it's FTR that's going to split.
Fuck off with it.
Yeah.
As far as tease people, right?
Because you're teasing two different ways. You're either teasing the turn or you're teasing their turn.
Whether you are a job guy or the world champion.
Yes.
You're not supposed to act like you're on a fucking show. This is supposed to be real for you. If we know it's not real, and you know it's not real, that's fucking fine. But when you're in the ring, when you're doing your match, when you're cutting your promo, this world is supposed to be real. Because here's the thing, if you remove all the realism from WWE and the world that you've built up and the characters you've created, and you remove everything, why the fuck am I watching? If you all know it's a TV show, why am I watching? And I'm fine with Drew McIntyre going, have you not been watching the product lately? Okay, it's a shit line, but there's one line. When you do things because you're trying to tease a fucking audience, that makes no sense in universe. That's like the detective committing a murder because they want to twist the fact that they're actually the detective. Like, no, you still murdered somebody. You're not the hero. You just murdered somebody. Like, why'd you do that? Oh, because you weren't expecting it. Like, fuck off. Tell a good story. Don't just, we need to swerve you. We need to tease you. We need to turn you. This is supposed to be a real world for you. You're supposed to act like real fucking people.
I mean, I'm using a great film gif, but this sums it up for me. Subscribe to the like, share, and subscribe to the weekly rants, because that's what it is. Yeah, and you know what's even better? She's cooking, whilst people are saying that this match was a 5-star classic. I mean, drugs are real. Jay's eating a haluva kick. Yes, and you know what's going to be worse? That match is still going to suck.
If Jay eats a haluva kick soon, seriously, who are our heroes? Who's left?
None.
Who can we count on?
I mean, after all, look at they're already bringing it out. I really want to cook this as well because this is making me sick. You talk about
what is it?
WWE Unreal.
Unreal.
Yeah. Triple H, you bald-headed, triple-veined, ugly-nosed bastard. You were on an interview, and this is where the whole WWE Unreal thing comes from. This is where the delusion kicks in. He's on an interview talking about, I think it was with a comedian or something. He talks about the suspense is real and seeing how everything comes to fruition. And then he decides, actually, we're going to do the same for WWE. This is why people get angry about Undertaker doing these bloody podcasts, because they're like, you're the only guy that actually kept kayfabe alive. Obviously, kayfabe is dead now, but like, nobody wants to see behind the scenes stuff like this.
Well, here's the thing: they're going this way.
You're going to be putting a time out. You're going to be timed out.
Where they think that what we've got to see, or what we want to see, is the characters and look at this world that we've built.
That is true. That is true.
They want it to be, look at this world that we've built. Look at these characters we've created. Okay, it's like when you used to get, because DVDs used to exist. When you
still got a lot,
and you would have like a making of or a behind the scenes.
You would have or bloopers for stuff. Because this was a blooper.
A movie is done when it's done. A TV show is done when it's done. If you take us behind the scenes of something that is continuous, you run the risk of taking all of the weight out of it. And the thing is, the emotional weight that comes from wrestling is the same emotional weight that comes from any story. That's why I don't compare wrestling companies to each other, but I compare wrestling to movies and TV shows and books.
Which is fair.
Storytelling. And
yeah.
if your story is continuous, you've got to keep telling the story. You can't just turn the page once and go, and then what I was thinking for this bit was we were going to write Travis Scott was going to come down because we knew the fans would hate that.
Yeah.
You can't be so. And the thing is, like, you hear some of the stuff in the trailer, it's like, oh, we're good, he's selling. Like, again, I get that there are people who are interested in this. Okay? But yeah, that's
bingo.
It.
I
Completely
yeah.
nailed it. I'm
Yeah.
fine with knowing that it's fake, or that it's scripted, that it's predetermined. I don't need you, WWE, to tell me that it is. And quite frankly, I like to lose myself in it. I like to, for a minute, think about these people as real people. This thing as a real thing. And if you just release something about the writing, that's going to detract from it. Because I already know, and I turn off the interviews. Like, you see people like CM Punk, Triple H, John Cena on these fucking podcasts.
Yeah.
Talking about how they're working an angle right now.
I hate that. Like, it really does fucking annoy. I'm trying to find something that's
stuff like that, and think, like, I had to put the CM Punk clip off, or I was going to lose respect for him. But he was chatting to Chael Sonnen, and it was just like, yes, what we were going for at the Rumble was, you know, your classic sort of all-out brawl type thing. I was like, no, you're like a stuntman talking through his stunts. Unlike the Mox and Coat match, this actually got a reaction. Like,
why? See, this is why I'm finding like it's always straight back to.
Yeah, but
I'm getting Ailey, if you don't mind. I need to address this now because I done this last night, and I actually need to do more. Because last night I was actually chilling gaming. Guy, your opinions are good, right? Sound as right, but why every single bloody time? When we're actually trying to have a civilized criticism of the company that actually is supposed to be the number one for everybody in that circumstance, why do we automatically have to go straight to, oh, it was better than the AEW one? Leave AEW out of this.
I would hope that that's the other thing, though. I would hope for it to be better than AEW.
I know you.
Fan.
Yes,
I
Ben.
expect it to be better.
Of course.
I don't look at WWE and grade it against the bar of AEW because to me they're not in the same fucking universe. So I don't look at AEW and go, that's laughable. I'm glad that my guys are better than that. I want WWE to do things that are just good, just objectively or even just subjectively good.
Yeah.
Judge your own merits as good. I'm not looking for point scoring. Like I said before, I wasn't born with a WWE shirt on. I just want to see good storytelling with wrestling. Which wrestling is something that I'm interested in, and I will watch a good match, but you need to have a good story with it as well. And that's why the next thing I say is probably going to be more shocking than anything. Because personally, I think I'm watching WWE for women's wrestling more than anything now.
Women's wrestling in WWE is so much better than the men's.
Well,
like seriously better.
That probably isn't going to end with a low blow.
True.
Probably not. I know in AEW they do that thing, so I'm not totally confident in saying they're not going to do it in WWE. But I think there's something to it. I don't think we've missed part of the combo, but a diehard Becky Lynch fan sitting there and just like myself Monday tells you everything about where WWE is at the moment. Well, yeah, because again, the Becky Lynch turn was predictable, but not only was it predictable, but it's also nonsensical.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
Becky Lynch, I don't agree with the comparison at all.
I just had to do it for funny.
Outlier of Valkyria on Sunday.
Their decisions are bad on their own, but this is a circumstance where you actually need to critique WWE's bad for WWE's bad itself.
Yeah. There's no need to bring AEW into it when it comes to just saying that something's good or something's bad.
Exactly. Take lessons from last week's show, funnily enough.
Judge on their own merits. But yeah, when it came to Becky Lynch, why did she decide she was going to be a face on Sunday and
Uh-huh.
then heel on Monday.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Would have been more impactful if she'd have just. But the thing is, they couldn't do that yet. They couldn't do that yet because no, you couldn't have two like shocking turn moments in the night. Except, of course, you could. You have
could've-
before. They could have just done it. And what does? Yeah, that's it.
I don't think she needs to sign with WWE, AEW, but I think realistically, Bayley needs to really consider what the fact she's meant to be doing. She got ruined for no reason.
Becky Lynch decides to be face against Lyra Valkyria on the Sunday, decides to be heel against Lyra Valkyria on the Monday. And Becky Lynch is also a model professional that wouldn't just beat the heck out of someone because she lost her tag title. Becky Lynch shouldn't even care about the tag titles. She came out as a favour. And if you really wanted that to be impactful, she should have just attacked Lyra when she came out.
Yep.
That's Lyra's partner, it's Becky. And you would have do a thing backstage. Lyra's like, I still don't know who my partner is. I've been told that they're coming.
Yeah.
You know, I've been told that I have a partner. Or I've been told who my partner is, but she's not here yet. And it could all have just been Becky going, I'll lead you on.
Did she say that? I don't remember her saying that, did she?
Also,
Wow.
Still Bayley and Bird Girl still be in the match, and then have Becky come out after the match and attack Bird Girl. Bird Girl.
I don't rate Lyra Valkyria, but I said realistically that it should have been the Chelsea Green's favourite duo versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in that tag match, in my opinion. And Bayley should have wrestled Lyra Valkyria, and you still could have had the enjoyment potentially of, well, Becky just attacks them both after the match because she doesn't give a flying fuck anymore.
It's almost like they wanted Lyra Valkyria to win the belts for the day, just to say that she'd won the belts.
Yeah, it was. They chose
to say that she'd been a tag champion. This doesn't make any sense as far as Becky Lynch's turn the following night, because what happened in 24 hours, other than one defeat?
There's something that I actually said the other day, and I stand by it.
She's okay.
There was something that they said. What was the reason? Good point. There was something that I said the other day, and I really stand by this. WWE are all about history and creating history and all that, right? You had the perfect chance to create history by having both the women's Intercontinental and US titles on the line in any shape or form. You could, because Chelsea Green, love her hair, she's the best thing on SmackDown right now. She should have been at Mania. But if you really want to make history, you have those two titles on the line, regardless of who's in the women's tag team title
or you do
match.
Champion.
Or champion versus.
You do champion versus champion.
But exactly. But this is literally what I was getting to.
Moments, and I've said this to you before. I watch wrestling for the moments, and if the match is great, then that's a plus.
Yep.
Okay, NXT I probably watch more for match quality because their stories are okay, but the match quality on NXT I think is the sort of attraction. It's WWE's version of a super indie.
Basically, yeah.
And NXT is very exciting. But with WWE, what do I remember coming out of WrestleMania? Do I remember how great the Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way was, or do I remember that Dominic Mysterio won it? Dominic Mysterio winning it is a moment, and it's a moment I'm firmly behind. It's a great decision.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. And it was a good match. But I'm not here going, oh, that spear that Braun Breaker hit was awesome. No, I'm like, that finish was great, and Dominic Mysterio is champion, and it's perfect. It works.
True.
The way that it was Finn Balor as well.
I like the fact that it was. Yeah, I like the fact that Finn Balor ate it the way he did.
Hey, I'm Finn Balor. I did my job. Quite literally, I did my job. I do my jobs.
I see. The funny thing is, James, you ask a good question, but I'm going to give you a simple answer. Bayley just needs to walk away. I said this the other day, and I think this might sound very harsh, but I don't mean it in a harsh way. Bayley and the wrestling business don't fit anymore. It's like Charlotte Flair. They shouldn't be there.
But here's the thing: Bailey's been around for long enough that if she was to reinvent herself, she could just go back to the hugger, and it would count as nostalgia.
Yeah, true.
She
AEW,
back to being the NXT hugger girl, and
Yeah.
I bet you that would be more over.
it would be. So I'm going to respond to your comment, guys. So you're saying the reason why you compare the companies because AEW wants to be number one. Yes, every company in their own right wants to be X, Y, Z. However, you're missing the fundamental point. When we are criticizing them, we're not going, oh, but how was this main event on Dynasty, or how was this main event like Revolution? We're looking specifically comparative to comparative. I said it already. This is one of the worst main events I've ever seen from a WrestleMania. It's up there with Yokozuna versus Hogan. It's that fucking horrible. I'm not saying you shouldn't compare WWE to AEW or vice versa, but when it's fundamentally their issues, you should be criticising them based on the issues they've got and trying to find where they fit. You shouldn't be going directly, oh, WWE's bad, AEW's bad. It shouldn't be. You should be going, WWE fucked up. Where else have they fucked up, and how can they prevent this from happening again? Instead of going, oh, but this, like, the problem is that this is what fucking annoys me.
They're not going to prevent it happening again, and I'm going to.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to take you back to
I
unfortunate.
feel bad for her. I feel bad for her, and I don't particularly like Bailey. You know who I feel bad for the most? And this is the worst thing. I feel bad for Liv Morgan, and that's saying something.
Unfortunately, I'm taking you back to 2018, 2017, 18. I'm taking you back to Brock Lesnar's reign of
540-day Universal title reign when he was barely there, and the Miz was the built-top champion.
Tedium. Not reign of terror, but a reign of tedium.
Reign of absence.
You had a main event champion that was not there. As a result, you were looking for other things to watch in the show, and they weren't really offering them to you.
No, they weren't.
When they did offer something, when the IC title picture got a little bit hotter, when the US title picture was worth watching, if they'd managed to pull a good women's match out of their arse, it was worth watching. Charlotte and Sasha feuded.
The SmackDown's world title scene was actually quite strong as well, apart from Jinder Mahal.
They re-established SmackDown having a world champion.
Yeah.
We were looking for things to be excited about. Now, if we go back a year, so forward from where we just were, but back a year from now, I feel like for most WWE fans, every picture was somewhat exciting.
Alright, yeah.
Sami Zayn dethroned Gunther. So your IC title picture was hot.
Yeah, even though I disagree with the finish, but I agree with what you're coming at. I get where you're going.
Just beaten Roman. So your Universal title picture was brand new, and it was hot.
She does. She wants 17 German suplexes.
Just won the World Heavyweight title. What the fuck?
After Drew McIntyre being a clumsy idiot.
What the fuck? Okay, where's this going? Hot. Drew McIntyre's going to have something to say to CM Punk. This has been hotting up. This is hot right now. What were the women title scenes like last year? Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah, it was. Sorry, yeah, it was. Yeah.
What's the other one?
It was Io Sky versus Bailey. Because remember, because Io Sky's done back-to-back Manias as champion.
Yeah. Damage Control was hot. The tag scene has never really been hot. It was last year when they did the. It wasn't last year they did the.
No, last year was those weird battle royal things. I'll bring up WrestleMania 40 anyway for everybody, just so they can look at the card again.
Basically, what I'm saying is, back at WrestleMania 40, every single title scene was at least somewhat interesting. Not only were you watching the show for the main event, you were watching the show for everything around the main event.
Oh wait, it was the match that I said that was going to happen. It was a 6-pack challenge.
Yeah, that's what I just asked you. Was it the one with 6 teams and the 2 belts?
Yeah, that was it. So
that WrestleMania 40 when
that was
and
A-Town Down Under.
Yeah. So everything had changed. There'd been a shift in it. I still don't remember who US champion was actually.
US champion was.
I wish I knew.
I'm trying to find it. The US title was Logan Paul winning against Owens and Randy Orton.
Yeah, Logan Paul was the champion, so that's exciting.
And also you had that,
title scene was worth watching a year ago.
and you had that stupid Philadelphia street fight where Bubba Ray Chubby was the referee.
He did, but that wasn't a title scene. That was job guys.
I know.
Really. And,
I know, but it was still offensive.
But everything was at least somewhat intriguing to a WWE fan that they would want to see this happen. Okay, we didn't want to see Jey Uso ever again after that match, and
oh yes,
unfortunately we did. But all the title scenes were exciting.
Again, look, you're on fire, mate. Spot on.
Yeah.
Damage Control storyline was really hot at some point, and it killed off so much in the 4 weeks or so before Mania. I vividly remember being so. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah. These are all the matches from last year's night one.
Title scene. If you look at every title scene, it was about a reset, but it was also about it being hot. It was about injecting interest in the title scenes. Fast forward a year. There's no interest in the Universal title,
which is now retired officially.
I know that I'm talking like I know what every fan wants, so I'm going purely from my own. I do not care about this Universal title run. I do not care about John Cena being champion. If he's going to churn out more matches like that WrestleMania main event, even before you consider the finish, I'm not interested.
I think it will be. Oh, for anyone who hasn't seen this, officially, as of today, the term Universal Champion is officially retired. It's just undisputed WWE title now, which of course I criticise as a community tab post.
So the WWE title is rubbish because you're going to get lackluster John Cena matches and heel heat.
Exactly.
Your World Heavyweight title is held by Jey Uso. Now, Jey Uso had a serviceable match against Gunther. Jey Uso is not losing this belt instantly, which is kind of
sadly.
So we've got to deal with Jey Uso's matches and the feuds that he can have and will have. And if this leads to a Sami Zayn world title run, then great. Should Sami Zayn be a heel? Probably not. So
I think the only way you turn him heel is if he actually forgoes everything that's about him right now, where he actually gets a haircut, he shaves the beard down, and he just starts going, I'm just going to be an even bigger nightmare than you. But it doesn't make sense.
If does turn on Jey at any time soon, why did he come out and argue? You know?
Exactly.
I read the article earlier, even since I've just called the Undisputed title WWE title. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, same. I've been calling that.
Everyone. I mean, Drew's about the only
legitimate guy,
wild main event talent at this point.
Actually, I've just thought of something actually, and this kind of hurts me as well. I also think I know why they had Braun Breaker join the whole new Dangerous Alliance. Because he's just lost the Intercontinental title. He didn't get his automatic rematch. Penta got it. But also, it kind of takes away Braun Breaker from the world title picture.
Yeah, it will keep him hidden for now until he can inevitably turn on Seth.
Which I don't actually... Unless he joins with Heyman, or he just walks away as a babyface. He's another thing that's been weird. Braun Breaker, he's actually the weirdest thing, because he was a babyface, then a heel. No, he was a heel, then a babyface, then back to being heel. Yeah. But they've wandered around him.
Other than Punk, Drew is consistent, and Drew is the most believable guy.
Yeah.
And so, so what else happened at Mania? Okay, well, we got a new US champion. You know how I feel about Jacob Fatu, but this match was okay. So
I really liked this match. I really liked it.
Jacob Fatu a chance. It was a serviceable title match. It didn't offend me. He sold. Yeah, sure.
An amazing BFT counter as well. Like, that really stunned me.
The IC titles with Dominic, so we can be interested with where that goes.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Huge pop, which I didn't expect.
In deader than 4 o'clock anyway.
Yeah.
I know the New Day have won them. I know that's brand new. I just
that was a horrible match.
Roster. They don't have enough. They don't have enough tag teams to have a set of belts on each show. without you turning out people like the Alpha Academy. And you really showed what you think of the Alpha Academy, because glorified Jobber Miro's back.
Kukev, as I call him. The people were actually chanting for him. I was like, you are all deluded idiots. I don't know how many times, whoever's in the chat that has my Twitter, you can go and check. I think I must have called WWE fans, like, at that crowd, like in that crowd particular, I must have called them idiots at least 10 times during the show. Maybe.
So, when you're looking at what to be excited about, never the women's tag belts. They don't matter. They've never mattered. Clearly, the women's mid-card belts don't matter either. But the women's world title pictures are both okay. They kept the right belt. They kept the belt on the right person. On
Can I also say just one little? Can I also say one little thing? Can I say one little thing? That's why Io Sky is a main eventer, not a mid-card champion.
It's true. Oh, thank you very much, Niall. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
But yeah, they've kept the belt on Tiffany, right?
I actually
SmackDown and get some good feuds for Tiffany. She's good. She proved it. The women's title scene on Raw.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have much faith in Rusev. Exactly. So why bring him back? That women's tag with Becky was worst of the weekend.
It wasn't the worst match because Cena versus Cody was the worst match. Come on, I'm saying this and I feel sorry for the kid. Like, it was the worst. That match was horrific though. Like, that was. I actually think the worst tag match though wasn't even the Becky match. It was the War Raiders because they actually shafted the New Day.
I didn't think it was too bad, but I also think I probably took my eye off the ball once Becky came out because I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, and
here's the other thing. Becky came out in all black.
Yep.
Lyra was in all white.
Yeah.
So Becky was dressed like a heel.
Yep. And not only that,
it would have been to attack Lyra.
You also cut to that fan who started greeting. I was like, for fuck's sake. What a melt.
Becky means a lot to people. That's why you should have turned her at Mania.
You would have really hurt a lot of people.
Rather than the Raw after it.
Here's a funny thing. I actually want to ask you about this as well. What did you make of, one, the scary ponytail blonde? She was giving me the fear. And two, ATVs are a formidable way of transport. Because that is an absolute ridiculous flop. That person does not get run over. She jumps to the ground. That is awful.
Steve Austin's a flop.
But that worst thing is what happened to Dominic Mysterio after he won the title.
Steve Austin's a liability. That's what he is.
He probably had at least 12 beers. That was horrific. First he misses the ramp on his entrance, and then the second he crashed into a barrier, and that woman just does a Jurgen Klinsmann to the ground. Like, horrible.
I can't think that it would have happened like that, but at the same time, we weren't there. Maybe it did.
You do see on camera, she does jump to the ground. But
it wasn't even the thing worth focusing on. I mean, it was the main event and how bad it was. So, like I say,
yeah,
I'm now watching WWE because their women's wrestling is great.
Shout out to Stephanie, shout out to Vakur and Io Sky. That match was incredible. Apart from the interference, that match was incredible on Raw.
But the one on NXT as well. In fact, both on NXT. The women's North American ladder match was brilliant.
I went back and watched them. I went back and watched them both. I was impressed with both.
Fatal Forward was really good too.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed both. No low blow.
Yeah.
They were athletic contests.
Solid wrestling.
With character, solid wrestling, and it was just really good to watch, and it was nice to see.
I can't grasp one thing when it comes to NXT though. I just cannot grasp Sol Ruka's finish, and it's not because I think it's bad. I don't think her finish is bad. I just can't grasp it because in what way could that be a realistic finish? But I still like the move, the way it's delivered. That's what's weird. That's what's weird. That move is like a 50-50 hatred and like for me because I like the delivery. I just hate the fact that doesn't look understandable to me. But it's cool.
No, I just love it. I just love it.
It's crafty. But I think there's one other person that I really do want to cook tonight because you're an absolute cringe fest. Wade Barrett and Booker T are now officially on the level of horror when it comes to commenting on women, because Jesus Christ.
Why did Booker T do that?
Booker T, please, sir, retire from the wrestling business, you nonce sympathizer, and stop with this stupid commentary on Vakur's move. It's cringe.
I don't know why Michael Cole brought that up. I think Michael Cole was trying to say in like a sideways way, just like, hey, Book, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, especially because we all know who's watching the shows as well. But that says all, but I just don't get why he does it, and it's weird, and it's even worse when Wade Barrett started doing it, and then I'm like, come on, like, don't do this. Like, it's so weird, and you know what's mad? This could be true, but I also get little hints that I actually think she might be an even better heel. But I like where she is right now as a babyface. I don't think you should change her straight away. I'm just glad that at WrestleMania we did not get Cora Jade. Because, Jesus, she's awful.
The problem is, she doesn't feel like the main person on the show with Ripley, Becky, Bianca, and Jordan will be coming up. I was great in the ring, but she isn't the best.
So you're saying she isn't the best?
I think maybe that's Stephanie Vaquer's better on the mic.
Stephanie Vaquer has the same issue as Io Sky. English is not her first language, but they both actually come across fine.
That she even needs to cut promos. Not everyone needs to be capable of cutting the 10-15 minute promo that you need.
Io Sky can say a lot in 5 words that
not much before Stephanie Vaquer came out, and you still understood what she was saying. She just announced herself as the world champion. It was a
nice way about it, and I actually like we got 2 non-English as first language speaking promos in the ring, and even better, they lived up to what we wanted. The only thing I didn't like is we didn't need Baldy to show up. We could have just had the referee pull up because Io Sky is awarded world champion. Just let her for one moment just have some sort of authority. She just makes the match happen. We don't need Baldy to come in and go, does the crowd want it? Fuck off, you dick.
Well, crowd interaction. It's the crowd participation era of wrestling.
They could have just done it as Io Sky. Like, say, do you guys want this match? It would have been fine. But I think it's insulting to say Io Sky isn't a good enough because of the mic, or that's not doesn't make her world champion. When she cuts, and I'm saying this truthfully, Io Sky's last 10 promos have all been better than Rhea Ripley's. And I'm a Rhea Ripley fan. I say that with truth.
Theorizing who the next woman in that rubbish stable is going to be. I say they just make it Rhea. They're not going to get booed. Might as well just put Rhea in it.
Yeah, I like the segment in terms of who we got on that. Like possibly a Julia Roxanne alliance, which is better than Roxanne and Cora, but don't make it obvious.
Alliance, but I'm not entirely.
Not like a complete long term, but I mean like they'll help each other now and again.
I was about to say it'll depend what happens on NXT. That's already happened, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but I do like all of them involved. I do like all of them involved.
I guess I would have heard about it if she didn't.
Yeah, I do like all of them involved though. Like I'm waiting to see what happens in terms of James's question.
It is true what was said on the Stand and Deliver commentary. They said that NXT, it was like the greatest division in the world.
I mean, they believe in their heart. They believe in their heart. That's
division is incredible.
It supersedes the main roster right now in terms of how they actually work and deliver.
Everything in wrestling for me right now. The NXT Women's Division is the strongest thing I have seen booked consistently for
a long time.
Certainly for the past 6 months in terms of just everything that's going on.
If she was going to be a transitional champion, she would have lost at Mania.
She'll probably lose to Becky because they've not done that.
Will they though? Because I feel like it feels like now that they're just going to have Becky beat Lyra. I don't know.
For the mid-card title.
Yep. She's clearly in it to do that. because the madness just seems right there.
It
And
should have just been, I'm going to take out Lyra at WrestleMania. I'm going for the champ next.
I mean, yeah,
I'm going for the real champ next. Not the champ who has such a meaningless belt that we need to put her in a tag team and go after the other meaningless belts for the belts to mean something. Whereas what you actually do is probably do Lyra versus Liv Morgan for Lyra's.
yeah.
Rid of Raquel entirely.
She's
and
so
then if you
boring.
want Lyra to keep the belt, you have her win, and then Becky attacks. And if you want Liv to win the belt, you have Liv win, and then Becky can still attack. It doesn't,
Yeah. Here's another thing
is that tricky a thing.
Here's another thing as well. What if they end up moving Becky to SmackDown though? What if, realistically, Becky goes, if there's one thing I can do that Charlotte couldn't, is I can beat Tiffany Stratton for the title.
There's history there. She did it.
Yeah. What if they end up doing that? Because realistically, I don't want Io losing the belt to Becky Lynch. Not because I don't like Becky, but simply, I just
They
don't.
haven't done that, have they? Like, as a single?
During her long run, I don't think so. She had Asuka a few times.
Yeah, I don't know if Io was around.
I'm gonna just double check if they've actually had. I can't remember if they've actually had a title match or
Io
not.
wasn't a highlight talent. The
No.
last time Becky was champ, and Becky wasn't champ for long either.
They did have a match 2 years ago, but was that for the title? They did have the Women's World. No, that's just people triple threat moaning. That never happened. What's this? That was before Mania. They had a singles match before Mania 2 years ago, but that wasn't for a title, was it?
So 2 years ago, that's WrestleMania 39.
Before the tag match, the women's, it was Damage Control versus Becky Lynch and two veterans.
Yeah, so I was about to say, it's like, but that's not a title, then.
Yeah, that was just a match for it.
Because was that Rhea Charlotte at 39?
Rhea Charlotte, yeah, that's when Charlotte tried to get herself killed with that German suplex.
Kind of more interesting, to be fair, would be risky, but Becky could be the one to finally turn Tiffany into a fully fledged babyface. It could happen, but again, Tiffany doesn't need to do much to be a babyface. She's just got to say the nasty things, and people will cheer.
Yeah, so Sports Kida ran an article. Prepare to laugh if you want. This was released yesterday, and
I've got 2 minutes, so make this
lovely. The title of the article is called 3 Reasons Why Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria Lost the Tag Titles on Raw. So for number 3, they've put to give Becky Lynch a heel turn against Lyra Valkyria. Number 2 is to prepare Becky Lynch for a heel versus face match against Women's World Champion Io Sky. And then number 1, prepare to slap your face. Number 1, to make Judgment Day stronger with 3 titles. Sports Kida, that's an article written by Mohammed Bilal.
Why would Becky want to be involved with those losers?
No idea.
They're giving her the belt for 8 months, 3 maybe. A run was a slog in terms of feuds apart from Bailey.
What?
She had a great match, like a reign-defining match against.
Are you forgetting the work she had with? Yeah, I was gonna say the Bianca Belair stuff was good. I think what they're insinuating, the article doesn't say Becky aligned with Judgment Day. It says they have the Intercontinental title plus the women's tag. Becky Lynch is just cementing it.
Judgment Day is becoming Ireland. We're gonna get Sheamus involved, and we'll bring Lyra over eventually. She will crack. We will crack her.
So what we'll have?
Like an egg.
So what we'll have the Judgment Day. We'll have the Irish. We'll have the Irish Cross.
We'll have Irish Judgment Day.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't know how people can enjoy this, but ALA, before you go, generally, if you had to change things right now with WWE with a chainsaw, you're cutting through it to fix it in your image Three things you're fixing, and how are you saving them? And then Rhiannon can't kill me for you being late.
Okay. Cody wins the belt back off Cena. Fuck. You can't fix this Paul Heyman shit.
Yep.
And
So you sack him.
It's impossible.
Yes.
Logan Paul beats Jey Uso.
Is it really bad that I can see why, even though I don't like the guy?
Actually, maybe not Logan Paul. Maybe Drew.
Yeah, because they're not going to do it to Braun Breaker. I can't believe they didn't get his title match. Like, Penta wasn't even involved in the decision. Yeah.
And
Braun Breaker Money in the Bank.
You do a tag title unification match between the New Day and whoever the fuck's got the SmackDown ones.
Profits until the TLC match, because that's all we know so far. That should have been a Mania, that TLC match.
So the New Day against Profits.
Profits win.
You know, unification for the titles, and then you fix the tag scene. You have Cody back as champ because you already have enough heels or enough people who can go heel that you can have more feuds with Cody. Cody Run wasn't done yet. You've just fast tracked it over to Cena. Maybe the fourth thing, put Travis Scott in a blender. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go, but
that works.
I will be seeing you. But fuck WrestleMania.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be seeing you very, very soon. See, she's top notch. Naomi's not more interesting than Io Sky though. But hey ho, see, Ailey's fair. Whether you want to admit or not, Ailey's fair. I want to say this as well. The Becky Lynch heel turn, it was so damn predictable that it really was crap. Rusev returning, boring. So damn boring. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer was the match of Raw. Dominic versus Penta was actually quite a good match, even though it was the wrong match anyway. We didn't need interference, but I understood why you had interference. Having Rhea even appear in this segment was actually stupid. The Jay, Zayn and Jimmy segment was overdone, in terms of timing. It was weak. It offered nothing to the show. It felt like we were just watching a meet and greet. It was crap. Karrion Kross and AJ, good backstage segment. I really enjoyed that. I like whatever they're going to do with those two. Let it go, because Karrion Kross cooked WrestleMania with that amazing discussion that he did. If you haven't seen that, really go and do it. Also, I don't know if you guys seen this, but the referee actually physically had to stop his hand before Penta kicked out, which shows something did actually go wrong in that match. Again, if he's not going to kick out, just count to 3. Just don't jeopardize it. Bizarre, but hey ho. And then obviously we got the final word. Braun Breaker joins the New Dangerous Alliance. I like the partnership. I just don't like how it's going to go, because it's not going to work. Simple. And we don't have to go in depth on the matches. We just have to cook it. WWE, you're in trouble. Your Raw was better than your Mania's Night 1 and Night 2. A low budget show compared to your pay-per-view, which is higher budget, was decimated by a 2.5 hour Raw. Yes, I did, sir. Yes, I did. I'm going to say this now. Raw was... If I'm going to rate them out of 10, I'd say Raw was maybe a 5. WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 combined, 0. Insulting, painful, disgusting. I got no fucks to give. That was WrestleMania. And I feel sorry for anyone who liked that. That match only had 2 good points. One of them could have went horribly wrong. but it wasn't a bad match. But still, could have been better. Not many people turned up to WrestleMania. Not many. Which I don't get why. People need to have a hard look at themselves. But hey ho. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out here. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be live again tomorrow reviewing Dynamite. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't know, but we'll find out. Thank you for getting us up to 300 subscribers, and we're going to keep going. There's no goal. We're just having fun, talking pro wrestling, because that's what this channel is all about. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Luke. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in, and thank you to my co-host Ailey as well. You guys are awesome. Goodbye for now.